Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Molly and I'm currently reacting to and reviewing the Netflix horror series The Haunting of Hill House. I'm about to start episode 7, but before I actually get into the content, I just want to say a quick thank you so much to everybody who so far has liked any of my videos, who has subscribed to the channel, and who has commented. I really appreciate it. And I've been really enjoying having conversations with people in the comments. So if you have any questions for me or anything you want to add, please definitely comment down below because I'd love to keep talking to people about it. So as I said, I'm about to start episode 7, and episode 6, as all of you well know if you've seen the series by now, was an extremely emotional episode. Certainly, in my opinion, the most emotional by far, with a heartbreaking ending where you see Nellie standing beside her own coffin at the very end of the episode, and you're hearing a kind of voiceover flashback to when she was a child back at Hill House, and she had seemingly disappeared, and then we find out that she had been there the entire time. It's just somehow the house had made it so that nobody could see her. And then you see that paralleled with her standing there literally by her own coffin while her family falls apart around her, and none of them are able to see her there as well, though she's continuing to be with them. And this had a lot of interesting parallels to generally things that have been happening in her life, with her depression, with her increasingly falling apart and losing touch with everybody and everything around her. And with the fact that she kept reaching out to all of her siblings, really, in various ways, and none of them seemed to see how serious her situation was, and none of them really were there for her at the time she needed them to be. So it was incredibly sad, very powerful and moving, but I now am very curious to see where the show goes moving forward. I had heard from people in the comments that things are going to be even more emotional from this point on, so I'm prepared. I've got tissues, I'm ready in case things like this continue to be happening that are very upsetting. But I've been really impressed with the show so far, and the fact that it is so emotionally gut-wrenching is probably the primary reason that I am so impressed with this show, because I went into it expecting a horror series. I expected it to hopefully be interesting, atmospheric, have a good plot and some good characters, and be scary and have a sense of terror and dread to it. And it has all of the above, but beyond that, I mean, it's some of the best actual presentation of things that people deal with in daily lives and in family dynamics. I mean, it's just so real in every way. I would say it's one of the best series that I have seen ever, which is amazing to me because that was not at all what I expected going in. But, all right, so going forward, I'm really just interested in seeing what happened in the past that Hugh has been keeping secret, what happened with Olivia, and how is everyone going to try to come together in the aftermath of Nellie's death, and what is going to be the impact. All right, so I'm going to just jump right into episode 7. Here we go.
I'm sure it's... No, I'm not. I gotta ask her.
Okay, so there's definitely something wrong with the bloopers. They should show.
You know,
show us.
probably ain't my place. But maybe she could use a little time away from the house.
Time away from the house.
Yeah.
I think you might be right.
Tell him something about
It's
the
probably
house?
not your place.
Oh, come on, man. Oh, Hugh. Maybe not the best time to get
You know,
defensive.
my mother worked in this house.
Oh.
She was kitchen staff. I was actually born here.
Oh, is that right?
Towards the end, she'd wander into the woods at night barefoot. And I swear I could hear her out there, giggling like a schoolgirl in love, out there in the cold, talking low like to a suitor. And she'd sleep out there sometimes too, so yeah, scattered.
I see.
So Mom died, and I met Clara when she got hired on working for Ms. Hill. We even got married on the ground. Clara is a brave woman, and these nightmares, they had her down in a corner, shaking so bad I thought she'd seize up dead.
God, I'm sorry.
So one night, she's cleaning the master bedroom up there. This is before Hazel passed. She's cleaning Hazel's room. And, she hears a baby crying. Hears it in other rooms, too. And she goes looking and looking. And I mean, I thought she was losing her damn mind. But it rattled her so good. She ran home, through the woods, no light, scratched her face to ribbons on the branches. Thomas, my doubts, they just dropped away. And I knew that was my first little girl's cry. That first cry, the one she never got to.
How do you keep coming back to the house after that?
So, we stopped coming here after dark. Told Miss Hill, you can fire us.
Still here.
But once dinner's served, we...
I always hate. I mean, I was gonna say I always hate this part of funerals. Little girl. I mean,
She did
obviously
raise her.
hate everything about funerals.
Still.
But just something about this tradition of throwing dirt on top of your loved one's body. I don't know, like, it's always hard for me.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Like Mom and Nell didn't get their shit together, you're gonna end up just like them, you understand? Because it's in our genes. It's a sickness. So you've gotta be vigilant. Get it together. Stop talking like a fucking crazy person. I don't want to bury you too, you understand?
You're the one falling
Okay.
apart, Steve.
We're almost through it. You're almost through it.
Are we okay?
I feel pretty bad for him this episode, actually, and,
Yeah, fine.
and last episode. He's just so scared. I mean, he's scared of the wrong thing.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry, I was having a horrible dream.
You think?
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I don't even know.
What's going on with you?
Nothing.
You're holding a fucking screwdriver to my throat.
No, I wasn't.
We need to talk.
Like Mrs. Dudley was supposed to
We
be
gotta
having
do-
dreams.
I don't know what we have to do, but we
Dreams
have to
seem
do
be
something.
more than just
What?
nightmares caused by the house.
It's constant dreams.
I know. You're just tired.
It just snuck up on me all of a sudden. But, I'll sort it out.
How did he get in there?
It looks like he bricked himself in. The tools were in there with him.
Oh my god.
And man, the scratches. I guess he had second thoughts.
Yeah, he was trying to scratch his way out.
Well, good news is Massachusetts doesn't require that you disclose you've had any death on the premises to any potential buyers.
Ah, yes. That's the most important thing.
You folks have a good night now.
Ah, yes. Go back to sleep in your house where the guy bricked himself into the wall and then
You know, I
started
gotta
clawing his
ask.
way out.
You know,
He changed
folks
his
around
mind.
town talk. They've always talked about this place. Is it
What?
haunted?
Oh. You know, yeah. At least a few of my kids sure think so.
Oh, God. Oh, no, she's gonna kill someone.
It's okay. I can.
What was that screaming? Oh, God.
Okay, well, that was episode 7. So I thought it was another solid, good episode. Another episode that was really hard to watch in parts. I'm glad that they kind of continued on with their primarily focusing on the relationships, family dynamics in the aftermath of Nellie's death and the funeral. I think that if they had just jumped right back into more of the focus on the scary stuff, the haunted aspects, it wouldn't have really felt right after what happened last episode. Not that there weren't scary moments in this episode, of course, too, there were. But I thought that overall it was just another really sad episode. And I know a lot of people in the comments were talking about Steve and his views on his siblings, because I personally, for the first few episodes, was pretty hostile towards him, antagonistic. But then I did start to see last episode how much he really did care about his siblings. And to me, this episode, more than any other, really highlighted kind of what's underneath Steve's consistent denial of anything ever having happened in the house, and his pushing back against his siblings in various ways, and it seems like it's really fear. I mean, he is, of course, he's in denial generally about the fact that anything happened there, about the fact that the house contributed to his mother's death in the first place, let alone Nellie's death now. But it really seems to be all coming from this terror that mental illness took his mother, that in many ways mental illness took his father away, because Hugh was basically lost from them in the aftermath, and their relationship with him completely soured, and that he now believes took his sister, and he's terrified that it's going to take his brother now too, and potentially any of the rest of his siblings. So I mean, that's incredibly sad, especially when you look at it in relation to the fact that Nellie was reaching out to him in particular, to all of them, but really to him a lot, for help when she was going through this crisis. And he felt like he knew that she was having mental health issues, but he didn't end up doing anything. So the guilt that he probably feels at this moment just, I'm sure, adds on to his fear for everybody else. And that was hard to watch. And then I'd say that also the scene near the very end where we see Olivia's ghost, which seems to be looking almost like she's decomposing, falling apart, crawling out from behind the desk there. That, of course, it was scary, but again, I also here felt that was more sad than frightening, just because of the reactions for both Hugh and Theo was not just fear, it was pain, devastation to see their beloved wife or mother in that sort of state. So I really, it's interesting to me how so far fear is kind of being shown in a very different way as being a cause of problems. So it's not so much fear of haunted things or ghosts themselves, but it's fear of losing one another, it's fear of facing reality, it's fear of facing your own feelings, and I think that was really highlighted very well in this episode. So going forward into the next episode, I'm curious to see if we find out more about what happened in the Red Room there, because obviously that's going to be significant in terms of whatever happened to Olivia in the end, and they kind of left us with a bit of a cliffhanger there with Hugh running into the room with the door finally being opened suddenly, even though no one had a key and he wasn't able to break it down previously. So I'm really excited to see what happens next. I'm still feeling really bad for everyone and not particularly optimistic about the safety of Luke in particular, given that he has disappeared and almost surely has gone to the house. So hopefully the rest of the family is able to come together in time in order to save him if he's going to the house. I'm worried. I'm a little worried. But I'm continuing to really enjoy the show. Even when it's painful in a moving way and a touching way. And so I'm really glad that I've been having the opportunity to watch this and to talk to all of you about it. So again, as I mentioned before, if you have comments, questions, please definitely leave them below, because I've really liked getting to know and chat with some of you guys about this show, and I'd like to continue doing that going forward. All right, so thank you very much for watching. I hopefully will see you next time.